Es ist amtlich. Donald Trump wird der 47. Präsident der Vereinigten Staaten. Sein Wahlsieg fiel entgegen aller Prognosen deutlich aus. Vor allem in einer Reihe von sogenannten Swing States gelangen Trump deutliche Siege. Wie bewertest du den Ausgang der US-Präsidentschaftswahl? Würdest du von freien und fairen Wahlen sprechen oder siehst du Unregelmäßigkeiten?
The 2024 presidential election ended up being one of the freest and fairest elections in modern American history, primarily because of the backlash against what happened in 2020, when many Americans believe the will of the American people was overturned by special interests loyal to the Democratic Party. Indeed, in many ways, one can say that the results of 2024 only confirm the fact that 2020 was problematic in terms of its status as a free and fair election. Donald Trump. It's not just about Donald Trump. The movement that is known as the Make America Great Again movement, the MAGA movement, has been empowered. This is a revolution in the United States. And Donald Trump emerges not just with a victory, but a mandate. He won a decisive victory, not just in the Electoral College, but in terms of the popular vote. There can be no doubt that the vast majority of Americans support not just Donald Trump, but the Make America Great Again program, which is going to be revolutionary in scope and scale if Donald Trump follows through on what he says he's going to do. So this is a victory for American democracy, because American democracy was very much in disarray after 2020. People had lost confidence in this, and we did see a concerted effort by the same powers that I believe manipulated the 2020 election. They sought to do the same, but this time the strength of American democracy prevailed. People came out in overwhelming numbers, and they were prepared for all of the tricks that the Democratic establishment, were trying to throw at them. And this time, look how quickly, the outcome was determined. This didn't drag on for days or weeks, and that proves the point that when the American people are given a chance to speak and the system is willing to listen, we don't have to wait for weeks to find out the result. The only time you have to wait for weeks is when the result is being manipulated. This time there was no manipulation.
Trump und sein designierter Vizepräsident J.D. Vance haben im Wahlkampf angekündigt, mit dem US-Establishment aufräumen zu wollen. Der US-Milliardär Elon Musk soll Teil der neuen Regierung werden und vor allem die Effizienz der US-Behörden steigern und ihre Kosten reduzieren. Kannst du eine Prognose wagen? Was bedeutet Trumps Wahlsieg für die US-Gesellschaft? Auf welche Änderungen muss sie sich gefasst machen? Kann es Trump gelingen, die tiefen Gräben wieder zu verbinden?
Donald Trump didn't just win an election, he won a mandate. And this mandate is accompanied by political control of not just the White House, but the Congress, both the Senate and the House, and the Supreme Court. This means that Donald Trump is able to influence all of the levers of political power in the United States. The opportunity for Donald Trump to follow through on the kind of changes that he has promised is real. It's not just theoretical. I think we will see Donald Trump attack the national security establishment, in particular, the law enforcement and the Justice Department that has been weaponized for political purposes, and absolute contradiction of what the Constitution calls for. And so we can see meaningful dismantlement of the national security state. I hope that he carries through with the intelligence community, reining in the CIA, reining in the National Security Agency, reining in the unprecedented surveillance of American people. Um, and this can usher in a new era of freedom. I mean, the American people have been imprisoned for decades by a national security state which has little or no regard for their inherent rights. And one of the interesting things here is that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been at the receiving end of the abuses of power by this this national security apparatus, and now they are going to be empowered to do something about it. So I think this is going to be one of the first things you're going to see is the radical transformation of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Innerhalb der EU und speziell in Deutschland waren die Befürchtungen groß, dass Trump erneut zum US-Präsidenten gewählt würde. Insbesondere in Sachen NATO überwiegt die Angst, der neue US-Präsident könnte die Haltung seines Landes ändern. Trump hatte wiederholt betont, künftig nur noch jene Staaten unterstützen zu wollen, die ihre finanziellen Verpflichtungen einhalten. Sind die Befürchtungen Europas gerechtfertigt? Wird es unter Trump große Änderungen der US-Haltung zu Europa und zur NATO geben?
I mean, this is a question for Germany to answer. Does Germany consider itself to be a 14-year-old teenager living under mommy's roof? Or is Germany an adult? From the American perspective, we view Germany as a 40-year-old adult who wants to live in mommy's basement, mommy being the United States. We don't want you in the basement anymore. We want you to grow up. We want you to leave. We want you to go and make your own way. What is German fear exactly? What is Germany fearing exactly? I don't understand the German fears. That you won't be able to leech off of America anymore? That America won't underwrite your grandiose ambitions that you can't yourself pay for? Germany needs to understand that as a sovereign state, you can only be that which you can afford to be. NATO is not meant to be a place where America pays for everything and Germany gets to slide in together with the rest of Europe. You must pay your own way. And if you can't afford the ambition that you aspire to, then you need to change your ambition. If I can't afford to live in the mansion on the hill, maybe it's time I stop trying to move into the mansion on the hill and accept the fact that I'm going to get the, simple house at the base of the hill. Germany is not a global superpower. Recently becoming a very minor European power. Germany needs to take care of Germany. Stop looking to the United States to solve your problems. And I think this is a moment of liberation for Germany. You see, now you have somebody in the United States who says, we're not going to pay your way anymore. You're going to have to do it yourself. And it's up to Germany now to adjust to this new reality. I think this should be a great moment for Germany. Every German should feel liberated by this because you get to decide who you want to be and how you want to be it. But you have to pay for it. And that's a beautiful thing.
J.D. Vance hat im Wahlkampf betont, wir wollen keinen Krieg gegen Russland. Trump hat mehrfach geäußert, dass er den Ukraine-Krieg in kürzester Zeit beenden könne. Er wollte noch vor Amtsantritt mit Putin und Zelensky telefonieren, um ein Agreement zu erreichen. Zumindest deuten Trump und Vance damit an, dass sie den Eskalationskurs der beiden Regierungen nicht weiter fortsetzen wollen und auf einen Neustart der Diplomatie und des Dialogs mit Russland setzen. Werden sich Trump und Vance an ihre Versprechen halten? Kann es unter ihrer Führung gelingen, die drohende Gefahr eines Atomkrieges abzuwenden?
We have a better chance of averting nuclear war under Trump's leadership than we did under Biden's leadership and definitely under any Harris leadership. I believe that they are sincere in this. And the good news is I believe that Russia is likewise sincere in trying to avoid a nuclear conflict. The issue of Ukraine must be resolved, but it's an easily resolvable issue because Ukraine has lost the war. And so I think that the phone call that Donald Trump will make to Zelensky is pretty much the only phone call that needs to be made, which is you have until January 20th to come up with a solution for the war with Russia, make peace, or I will make peace for you. Um, and that's that. Zelensky has to understand there is no more, um, bottomless pit of American wealth to dip into. This is a lesson for Europe as well. This is what happens when you become addicted to American largesse. We're not going to pay your way anymore. We're not going to fund Zelensky's ambition to make Ukraine a regional power. Ukraine is a defeated nation. They made a gamble and they lost. And now it's time to pay the price. And I think it's as simple as that. I don't believe that Donald Trump's going to have to make a phone call to Vladimir Putin. I think that Donald Trump only needs to make a phone call to Zelensky. And then the conversation that will be with Vladimir Putin is how to move forward, how to lift the sanctions against Russia, how to normalize relations, how to create the framework for a new European security mechanism. These are all positive things that the Biden administration could have done but opted not to do. These are the kind of conversations I believe that the Trump administration will be engaging in.
Du selbst hast dich auf deinen sozialen Medienkanälen kurz vor der Wahl für Donald Trump als US-Präsidenten ausgesprochen, eben weil er sich zum Ziel gesetzt hat, für Dialog und Frieden mit Russland einzutreten. Du hattest die Abwendung des Atomkriegs als wichtigstes Wahlthema benannt. Wie planst du selbst oder was können die US-Bürger tun, um Präsident Trump zur Einhaltung seiner Versprechen zu bewegen?
Well, if you're referring to posts that I made on X, I didn't come out as a strong advocate of Donald Trump. In fact, the posts that I made indicated my personal belief that neither Trump nor Harris are the perfect candidates, that there's problems with both. But I did say that Donald Trump gives us a possibility to avoid nuclear conflict. And for that reason, he is worthy of support. But it's a slim chance. I mean, it's not as though this is guaranteed. There's no assurances that Donald Trump is going to be able to follow through. The first test will be, the selection of his transition team and what his cabinet's going to look like. He acknowledges that he made a mistake in 2016 in surrounding himself with neoconservatives and people from the establishment. He needs to avoid that mistake again and make sure that whoever he surrounds himself with are people who are against the establishment, not from the establishment. And this is what the American people need to do. And I will be doing this very aggressively to hold him accountable for his words and hold his transition team accountable too. Elon Musk deserves great credit for, helping save free speech and for promoting, the notion of the need for transformation. But now Elon Musk needs to be held to account. You have to take those words and make them action. What pressure is Elon Musk going to put on Donald Trump? RFK Jr. likewise has spoken about improving American health. The MAHA movement is a big reason why Trump won with such a mandate, make America healthy again. But now it's time for Bobby Kennedy to step up to the plate and hold Trump accountable. Tulsi Gabbard has to do the same thing on foreign policy, step up to the plate and hold Trump accountable. And my job and the job of other Americans is to continually remind them every day of their obligations to us, we, the people who voted for Donald Trump. We didn't vote to create a dictatorship. We voted in somebody who indicated that he was going to lead a revolution against an establishment that has been oppressing the American people. So we need to hold them to account. And I will do that by speaking to outlets such as yours, by writing. And if the millions of Americans who voted for Donald Trump do this as well, I do believe that he will wake up every morning reminded of the duty and obligation that he holds to the people who empowered him through their vote.
Liebe Zuschauer, wenn euch unsere Beiträge gefallen, teilt sie unbedingt in den sozialen Medien. Abonniert unseren Kanal und drückt auf die Glocke, damit ihr keine Veröffentlichung von Gegenpol verpasst.